minutes gone past, in fact, 1 minute gone past the hour of 11 o'clock in the morning time. It's a sound of classic and GBN television complementing it. Wherever you are, classic 105.5 and 105.9 on the FM band. And those of you that's on television, GBN channel 7, 11, and 20. If you are in cable, and I want to say a special shout out to those of you that's joining us via the different social media platforms, be it Facebook or YouTube. To all of our listeners, it's your boy JC, welcoming you back to the televised edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz. Indeed, it's a pleasure being here with you. And some of your morning may not have been going the way you perceive, you determined when you woke up hours ago, but that's it. That was when you woke up hours ago. Maybe what you need to do is to talk to yourself and talk self into, you know what, making some adjustment. I keep saying something. The way we see life is probably based not necessarily on the circumstances around us, but based on our perception of things. The glass is half empty or half filled. What say you? Have I completed half of my journey, or do I have half the distance to go? You can either decide. Is it a little bit too hot? Too sunny? Listen, either way, the weather is going to be what it's going to be. With me in studio this morning is Willvorn Grainger, and he's representing Rotary Club Grenada East, and he's here in the capacity of Public Image Committee Chair. Willvorn, good morning. Welcome to the program. Indeed, it's always a pleasure having you here.
Good morning, Joe. Indeed, it's a pleasure, and thanks for having us.
Anytime. Rotary, I did say when we were off air I was going to ask you, and I should have placed. I'm not a man of toss and turns, so I didn't think of betting. But at the center of Rotary, whether it's East, whichever segs, what's your mantra?
Well, Joe, you got it right. But in actual words, it is service above self.
Okay.
Right? Rotary are guided by what we call the four-way test. So we ask ourselves, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
For the greater good of mankind.
Yes.
I kind of forget, it doesn't matter. For the greater good of mankind. And I've started initiating a conversation there so that persons out there get an appreciation of Rotary. Because for a lot of times, there are persons who have their own blindsided notion that Rotary, it's for a special sect, a group of little pretty boys, nice boys, who hold fancy posts here and there, and they're part of this elite group of people. And the truth is, that is the furthest thing from the realization of what you actually do.
That is correct. Once you're a person of integrity, you are eligible to join Rotary, because we are all about enhancing the lives of other people in the community. So that is basically the main requirement to be a Rotarian.
It is that simple. Nothing sinister, ulterior about it. Once you're into service, and that's what you're here for. But let's talk specifically about what's happening in Rotary Grenada East, which you hear as the Public Image Chair. A nice fancy title.
Well, that's just the title they give us to chat with the media and to do stuff to bring life of Rotary to the public. So as Public Image Chair, it's our responsibility to basically showcase the work of Rotary. This year, our club, Rotary Club of Grenada East, as you are aware, there are two clubs in Grenada.
Right.
There's the Rotary Club of Grenada, and then there's the Rotary Club of Grenada East. Grenada is located, headquartered in St. George.
Right.
We as East, we are in St. Andrew. Right. Our club is actually celebrating 47 years. On October 31st, we were chartered October 31st, 1977.
Right.
So we are in a week of activities celebrating our anniversary. And it's basically to tell our story, to let the Grenadian public know that, listen, East is here. And we do a lot for our communities. And this is why we are here to showcase the work of Rotary and the work of Grenada East. And
telling the story is important for continuum. Yeah, not just Rotary East, for building societies, families. You have to be able to highlight that which has been done, where you came from some 40-70 years ago, what has been done, what you've done for the year, and the week of activities. What's the highlights?
Yeah, key, just to highlight that as a club, we still have two foundation members, chartered members in our club. That is in the persons of Mr. Fred Belfon and Leslie Ramdani. As you may be aware, 2 years ago, Leslie Ramdani was the district governor.
Yes.
Right? And the district covers from Antigua in the north to Suriname in the south, and also include the ABC Islands. So it is a very wide and vast district.
Let's hold that there. Because even me, I mean, I knew you had quite a wide reach, but very often we don't really stop to think about, we see Rotary as this localized grouping.
Well, Rotary is part of an international organization, right? So Rotary International formed 1905 by a lawyer out of the U.S. And he, through his partners, really and truly came together and met to see how best they can enhance the lives of other persons, right? So the word Rotary came about because meeting times was rotating from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. So that is the idea behind Rotary in terms of how they met to discuss and how they met to collaborate,
right,
to enhance the lives of other persons, right? So our district is District 7030, and as I said, it is a diverse district. It covers English speaking, it covers the French, and it also covers the Dutch with the ABC. So it is very diverse.
What advantage does it bring to me? And we just want to talk about that. If I were to determine, you know what, I have some spare time, and it's interesting that most of the Rotarians do not necessarily have this load of free time on your hand, because most of you guys are active, everyday, hard-working people that makes the sacrifice do. But let's say I'm willing to make the sacrifice. What's in it for me? Because everybody's always going to ask, while it's always about service, somebody may always selfishly ask, okay, so I do it.
So Joe, once you have an innate feeling, an instinct to help other people,
right,
that is your satisfaction, because what we do as volunteers, we are not obligated, but we as volunteers, we really and truly pull our resources together, connections, all of those things like that, identify areas that persons that are in need, and then to collectively lend support. And there's no greater satisfaction when you have seen that you have done something that put a smile to someone's face or enhance the quality of their life. So and that is key. And if I could recall, a couple of years back, we usually do wheelchair distribution, right? And this is my personal experience.
Right.
And on my way down, because I live in St. George, I took 2 wheelchairs to drop off at the home in St. David, right?
Uh-huh.
And this is like late afternoon, after 5 minutes to 6. I knocked the door and the matron opened the door, and I said, I am from the Rotary Club of Grenada East, and I have 2 wheelchairs here to bring for you. And the lady paused and tears started running. The reason being, one of the residents' wheelchair just broken. They had no idea how they're going to move him around. He's heavy. He lost his 2 limbs. And she was in tears. So these are the kind of experiences and the memories and the magic. I mean, the team for Rotary, they say it's the magic of Rotary. And that is the kind of satisfaction you really get from being a Rotarian and contributing to enhance the lives of other people.
And outside of that, we could always talk about even more so the networking, the collaborations that you build, the bonds of friendship.
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean, it really, really, it's invaluable, yeah? So if you don't get it one way, you at least you get those lasting memories that you've impacted the life of somebody positively, and then you still have the satisfaction of having met some great friends that you've built bonds of friendship for a lifetime.
That is key.
47 years on, you're celebrating. What are some of the events that's going to be the highlight of the week of celebration?
Okay, well, we of course give God thanks. We always have to do that, and we did that on Sunday. We worshipped at the Catholic Church in St. Andrew. That is going in by the convent. Right. We had that, and then after, of course, part of Rotary is all about fellowship, right? So after that, we had a brunch by one of our Rotarians today, We have Media Day, so we showcasing the work of Rotary and telling you about our activities. We had an event planned for yesterday, but there's a little delay, and that basically was the handing over of the senior citizens' home in Carriacou, because our Rotary year starts on July 1. And what happened on July 1? Beryl came. So our efforts really were concentrated to relief at Carriacou and PT Matnik. And we did some collaborative projects with Carriacou, with our Grenada, with the Grenada Club. So three things we did. We provided shelter boxes, about 600 shelter boxes, to residents that are in need. And shelter boxes is basically a huge tent, right, that comes with various amenities and stuff like that that can house a family of 5 persons. Okay. So we did that. We engaged and got approval from the ministry to fix the roof of the senior citizens' home. As you're aware, that the residents there had to be relocated to St. George's. And we, in the process of fixing that, we also had some other work that required improvements. The only challenge, though, that the door needed some specifications that we did not have. That what hold up the actual handover there. And also, they say they don't really waste a good crisis, and we had an opportunity there to revive our own Rotary Community Corps back in Carriacou. So we got a team back together, and they really and truly helped spearhead the efforts in terms of doing the on-the-ground work for us, because we are here in Grenada. So that was key for us. Our efforts was really around burial relief for the first 2 months, 3 months of our Rotary year. But coming back to our activities, today was Media Day. Tomorrow we also have some Media Day. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we have our meeting. And the month of October is different entities celebrated in the month of October. Right. So tomorrow, we know that definitely is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And tomorrow we have a meeting where we will have survivors coming to speak to the club, right? So we term that event Think Pink, right? And we have that tomorrow, God's willing. On Thursday, we have to give back to our communities. So as usual, we identify the 3 elderly homes, the Hilarion home, the Cadore home, and the St. Martin de Porres home. So we will be bringing some needed items to them on Thursday, God's will, and also spend time with the residents there, celebrate with them, sing, and, just fellowship with the senior citizens, because, they have played a part in our lives, and we need to give back to them. Friday, we socialize because, as I said, fellowship is
all
key.
All work and no play.
Right. So we have a karaoke event on Friday.
Nice.
That is by the Greens in Simone, right? Simone Restaurant and Bar. Right. A lovely venue in the back there by the beach. So we will be doing that celebration there on Friday. But Kido, we have a major fundraising event on the 9th, which is next Saturday, where we have our annual anniversary dinner celebration. So we have to raise funds so we can do those sort of work that we are doing. So we have that on the 9th, and all-inclusive $250. You can't get better than that.
Well, I was just about to ask you highlighted it, because I was saying for such an active organization that do all this philanthropic work, I was about to ask you, how do you sustain it? Because everything there is a dollar value to it.
Yes.
But besides the fundraising ventures, I'm assuming also central to all of this is a close working relationship with Corporate Grenada.
Yes, we do. Well, just to highlight, one of the corporate sponsors of our Thursday event, where we get stuff to give to the elderly home, I really want to just highlight Grenada Paper Products. They have been with us, providing us with toilet paper, paper towels and stuff like that to distribute. So I just want to highlight that they have other corporate Grenada that comes and support our fundraising events, whether they buy a table and give tickets to the staff and stuff like that. But we have various activities throughout the year. So where we would go to corporate Grenada for support, other than our fundraising events. For the major projects, we contribute to the district. So when there are major projects, we apply for a district grant because as part of the Carriacou rehabilitation was supported by a district grant, plus corporate who found that, listen, I am willing to put the monies into a serious, reputable, non-profit, non-charitable organization to carry the works in that regard.
Highlight for me if you can, because I think some of the major, you hinted, some of the major, one or two of the major activities that you spearheaded. Is it you? I'm thinking, is it something recently? I'm not sure how recent, maybe the last couple of years, you did an eye care program.
Yes,
I remember that one.
Vosh is our signature project.
Okay,
right. Every year we have that. We had a hiatus for 3 years for COVID.
Right.
If barring that, would have been 26 years doing Vosh Eye Care Clinic, and this is basically where we collaborate with the Vosh international team, the doctors out of North Carolina. They come every year. Actually, we're already planning for next year because it will be on May 5th, right? And our intention is to go to Carriacou this year because every so often we would go to Carriacou. But our that is our major signature project at our club, Grenada East. We do the parishes of St. Patrick, St. Andrew, St. David, and also there's a day for the St. George's, for the people of St. George's. Now, what we do with Vosh, free eyeglasses, free screenings, testings, eye drops, sunglasses, everything is free. Right? Some years when the ophthalmologist and part of the team, we actually do surgery, but we have to collaborate, of course, with the Ministry of Health and the hospital to facilitate the surgery.
Right.
On an average, Joe, say on average, $300,000 in terms of all of the donations, the services of the doctors. And we see between 1,200 to 1,500 persons every year. So we have been contributing significantly to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Matic just through that particular project. Other projects that we have from time to time, as I said, we do the wheelchair distribution. We have the back to school. Every year we do our back to school program. Every Christmas we do our Christmas hampers. And Joe, you know what? You know, when you go through some of the villages in Grenada and you do those distribution, you get opportunity to see what you're doing and the lives that you're impacting just by these initiatives that we have undertaken.
And it only further helps you to realize that there's no greater need for volunteerism. Because very often, when we sit in the comforts of our homes, of our jobs, and we assume that the world, because we know a little bubble, we think life just maybe thinks it's not that bad. But when you get a chance to go out there, I've had the opportunities, and then you start going, wow. It gives you a greater appreciation for your life, and it makes you to realize that there are people out there that are crying for help, and there's a need for soldiers to be part of that conversation.
Yeah. Well, I just tell my friends, you know, Papa God put us on earth to do two basic things. One is to serve Him,
right, and
two is to improve the lives of others, serving humanity. Everything else after that is gravy.
Sometimes we tend not to be able to realize that, even when we consider ourselves to be a Christian nation. Yeah. So there is those week of activities. When was the dance? Was there supposed to be a dancer by, what's his name's house?
Leslie Ramdani?
Leslie?
Yeah, that's our fundraising anniversary dinner. That's
on.
That's on. You studying dance, right?
It's dinner and dance.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So dinner and dance. Usually, persons who come to that enjoy themselves. I'm telling you. Last year we supposed to finish this thing about 11:30. Next thing we realize, after 1 minute or two, we still there.
What's 11:30?
Yeah,
what kind of school children life is that?
11:30 for $250.
No, man,
that's value beyond it.
Yeah, I mean, don't listen to the big people, the big boys. You come to play late.
But Joe, one of the other things from a Rotary International perspective, I just want to raise is that Rotary have 7 areas of focus, right? And one of the major areas that we play in is disease prevention, right, and treatment.
Right.
And one of Rotary's signature project is the End Polio Now, right? And we raise funds to help with the vaccination of children, because we know definitely polio affects children under 5 years. Right. World Polio Day was on October 24th, and that day was established by Rotary International, actually, and supported by World Health Organization. Okay. And that basically in commemoration of the doctor, Dr. Jonas Salk. He led the team for the first vaccination that was considered safe for the treatment of poliomyelitis, or the polio virus. So we celebrate on an annual basis on October 24th, World Polio Day. We started this is Rotary International. So when I say we as a body, 1979, we started our efforts to eradicate polio from the world. At that point in time, all of the continents, there were polio there. And we are proud to say, through the support of the corporate, especially the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, in that every dollar we raise, they match it 2 to 1. So basically, we have a triple impact to the contribution towards the vaccinating children throughout the world and the eradication of polio. We still have some concerns. There are actually 2 countries right now that polio is still an endemic, and that is Pakistan and Afghanistan, and one of the main reasons for that, those areas are Taliban controlled, and they also had some concerns and caution about the doctors coming in to immunize the children, right? But it's our intention to as Rotary International, to get rid of that disease in the next 10 years. We're hoping that we can achieve that. Failure to which we anticipate that at least 200,000 children will be at risk to contracting polio, because we know definitely polio is a water-contaminated disease, and it is spread person to person. So let's say the situation that is going on in Gaza right now is of huge concern to Rotary. So we have to manage that. But that is, End Polio Now is like the biggest initiative of Rotary International. And we celebrated October 24th. We encourage persons. You can go endpolio.org and online donate your monies, because, as I said, we make our contribution in a small way to the bigger efforts, right? And we just want to highlight that we will get there and eradicate polio, hopefully in 10 years' time.
Well, it's interesting we talk about polio. Years ago, HIV was would be one of the biggest story.
Yeah.
Now, I was jokingly saying in the newsroom, a person in the newsroom was saying, you hardly, and when I say hardly, in the context of the severity and the impact.
Yes.
At one time, HIV seemed as though it was a death sentence.
No longer.
It's no longer, and hope is certainly like with organizations as yourself, Rotary as is international, together with the 2 local arms, that we can play our part. And I'm saying we because certainly it offers a rallying cry for persons to come on board. How can persons come on board, Willvorn? We're interested, but how? So
I said, if you want to donate directly to Rotary International, you go online, right? As I said, endpolio.org. You go online there, there's a donate button. You can make contribution directly to Rotary International. Or if you so wish to make that contribution through our club, you go online again. We have our website, RotaryGrenadaEast.com. There's a donate button there. You can make a contribution and specifically say this is to the End Polio Initiative. So you make contribution online. Everybody, you can just visit either RotaryGrenadaEast.com, our website. You go there, you make the donation, or you go to endpolio.org and you make the donation directly to Rotary International. So those are the two options where you can contribute in any small way to help with the vaccination of the children around the world and eventually the eradication of polio.
What if I want to actively be part, become a Rotarian?
Yes, that's easy. We come to meetings. We ensure that your mind is where you say you want to be, right? Because we don't want to be recycling people. That does not look good. So as I said, once you are willing to serve, and serving means you have to give up some time and sometimes finances, right? But the finances part is minuscule. So once you're willing to do that, you consider. So I just always tell people I was a Rotarian, but I find that club because I always want to help people.
Right.
So if you're that person, then we welcome you in open arms.
What are some of those open and active excuses people would make?
So
as to why they
can't make it. As you were speaking earlier, is always have a positive mindset, right? So I always think how I can do something as opposed to why I cannot do that. As I said, once persons really and truly show interest in being a Rotarian, that is number one, because you have to be willing. Your mindset has to be there. Now, some of the I think probably the meeting times, what we did, we used to have meeting 12 o'clock, but now we're doing dinner meetings, right? So we have structured it wherein you don't need to come to meeting every week. Our club, what we do, we have our committee hosted meetings 1 week, the board meets 1 week, we have a general club meeting another week, and the fourth week will be fellowship, right? And these are all evening meetings. The committee chair, like for me, I could meet with my team anytime I wish. So if we decide, listen, we are going to meet over lunch, or we are going to meet evening to discuss the business of Rotary and to plan, we can do that. We have that autonomy to do that. But as Rotarians, we are encouraged to, and it's part of Rotary International rules to be part of meetings at least 60%. And that also include Rotary engagements. Right. So if you're unable to make a meeting today, but listen, we have to go to visit the homes, and you're part of that. That also consider you.
Creates a balance.
A balance, right?
Okay,
so that is key. So outside of that, I'm just saying, once you're willing and your mindset is there to want to help improve the lives of other persons, I don't think those minor obstacles will prevent you from being a Rotarian.
And I think, unlike there's the 80-20 rule, which most people become fearful of, that in any organization that 80% of the work is done by the 20%. Rotary is nothing like that, is it?
Listen, we are not outside of the 80-20 rule, but it probably might be a little less, right? Because you do find those things, right? But when we have those major events, our club, our Rotarians, we show up.
Okay.
Right? Okay. We show up. So you may not see me for a couple of meetings, but there's an event.
You would support the cause.
You would see some of us showing up.
And that's the thing I've always, over the years, I've got to realize about Rotarians. When you plan an event, they support.
Yeah, we show up.
I actually went to one of your events sometime last year, and I'm like, why are you celebrating? They were not even from your district.
Probably the Grenada Club?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm like, what am I going to St. Andrew and do? Listen, you have to go, JC, you have to go. Yeah, but at least it is good to know that there are organizations that persons can be part of, because very often people make excuses, and not that they don't want to be part of it, but because they have some ill-conceived notion in their heads as to what is or what isn't, and they use that as a smoke screen, or it serves us as a smoke screen. Yeah. So we talked about your polio initiative. We talked about your celebration. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want us to highlight before we wrap?
Well, just to one of the things that we have started, and this is Rotary International, into getting persons involved in service. There is early actors, right? So there are early actors that is persons in primary schools. Then there is interactors, that is children in secondary school. Actually, we chartered an interact club last year. That is in a secondary school, Grenada Christian Academy in St. Andrew. And actually, they did a project because they know we celebrate World Mental Health Day. So while it's not World Mental Health Month, World Mental Health Day is in October, and that was on the 10th of this month. But the students actually did a project. I believe it was Monday. They actually hosted an assembly. Speak about World Mental Health. They develop slogans. We support them with badges so they can sell to raise some funds for their own initiative. I think the slogan was, "It's okay not to be okay." And these are slogans that was established by the students and stuff like that. So we supported them. And on the young adult side, we have Rotaractors, and then we have the Rotarians. So we have what we call an induction into the ideas and ideals of Rotary from a very early age. Just to wrap up, is just to encourage persons to support the cause of Rotary. If it means that you are unable to be a member of Rotary, you can become a friend of Rotary. So when there are initiatives and stuff like that, you come and you offer your services, you volunteer, and whether it is your time or your finances, you do that. So you can also be a friend of Rotary.
I joined the Rotary Club before we had, after a couple of years, I figured, I think I've played my part.
Joe, there isn't that stopping and helping people. I mean, play your part.
No, I know some people, they may decide, you know what, I want to be an active member.
Okay.
You know what, I'm going to commit myself. I want to be an active member for a certain period of time. But the fear is, you know what, I get in and I'm stuck there.
Yeah.
So is it as easy? Listen, guys, I know my time, maybe things have changed.
Life changes, and life happens, and things come at us. So if you are unable to give that time and attention, and you want to say, listen, I do not want to be a active member, but no, I think that I can be a friend of Rotary.
Right.
That I can show up when there's an activity that I can partake in. Then that is all fair. That is fair.
I just want to ask the questions for those. I know a lot of people are full of excuses. I'm just making sure I'm giving you no grounds to tread on. Yeah, no single grounds to tread on at all. Yeah. So as life changes, so too the group. It makes accommodations for you. Yes, become a Rotarian. You want to become an active Rotarian, or you want to do it partially. So a friend. Yeah. That's why I am your friend.
Of course.
A friend of a Rotarian. And I know you say to yourself, Joe, when are you going to become a full-fledged? Here's what is going to happen. There are those who are full-fledged members as yourself and Kira. And there are those as myself. When you need to get things done,
you get things done.
Just call me, Joe. We need to come have a conversation.
Yes.
That's why you have friends for such a time as this.
Definitely, we appreciate that.
Folks, this is the way we leave the conversation. My guest this morning was Willvorn Grainger, and he's in fact the Public Image Committee Chair of Rotary Club Grenada East. Get involved. There's a lot that has been done. There's still a lot to be done, and a lot that has not been done as yet. There's always a beckoning cry for foot soldiers, persons on the ground that's just willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, yes, and impact humanity in a positive way. Is that you? Is it me? The only time will tell when we get involved. This is the way we leave the conversation. For those of you that is on television, I got to leave you for now. Certainly I'll be back with you tomorrow from 9 o'clock on To The Point. Those of you that is on radio, I stay with you up until about 10 to the hour. Reminding you that at the top of the hour is going to be the midday edition, a production of our News and Current Affairs Department, and will be presented by Beverly Tillerson. Until then, so long, everybody. JC loves you. Have yourself a really great one.